Hello, hello. So, this is part three of my experiences with Babaji. I have two other stories that I recorded before. So, if you want to check those out, definitely give them a listen. So, this is in regards to the next group healing session, which is tomorrow, featuring my favorite energy that I look forward to every single year, Sri Babji, also known as Haidakhan Babaji, Mahavatar Babaji from the Autobiography of a Yogi, and many, many other incarnations. Uh, Many people say that Babaji is the reincarnation of Shiva. And in his latest reincarnation, which was from 1970 to 1982, he revealed himself in the Haidakhan region of India, developed a large following, and started spreading his messages around the world, awakening all of his disciples and devotees all around the world who came to him for his blessing, for his initiation, and so forth. And in my stories from before, Babaji awoke in me. This was maybe about 5 years ago, somewhere in there. And from a picture, from looking at a picture and tapping into it, Babaji's energy came to me. And those stories are in the videos from before. So definitely give those a listen. Now, Babaji worked with me all these years, and every time I would make a connection with him, which I did not all the time, I'd always save my connection with him for when I really needed the next level of wisdom, knowledge, or help, where I like really needed help. So I always held the connection with him in deep reverence. I never I want to say abused it. I never overused that connection, you know. So, and that's what made it super special, because every time I connect with him, it is literally receiving enormous spiritual gold. And this is what he bestowed upon me, which with I want to share with you. And that is, I had this experience when I was younger where I was able to see with my eyes closed. And I knew it's possible. There's documentation of it. The super psychic kids of China. There's a lot of documentation of people learning to read and see with their eyes closed. And I had done it personally. I went into this little semi-conscious trance state and was able to see the room in full like this weird kaleidoscope color, but everything was as it is. So I knew it was possible from a young age. And I'd been thinking about it and like getting little glimpses of it through meditation. So I asked Babaji, I was like, can you help me with this psychic gift? And I was in meditation. Babaji's energy comes to me. His presence encapsulates me. And then he very quietly said, yes, but you won't like it. And then those very few words carried this realization, carried this truth with it that was like unwinding as I heard the message that was given to me. And then all of a sudden I realized, if you don't have the ability to shield yourself or to turn off that sensory, you're going to be seeing just anything and everything while your eyes are closed, while you're trying to rest, while you're trying to meditate. And because it's a as dirty and as polluted this earth is, it's there's a level of astral pollution as well. Spirits flying around everywhere. Um, just to give us a small example, and a lot of spirits, what happens is when they're still flying around close to the earth realms, they mess with people. They mess with people, and they're trying to get as close as they can to feel your presence again, to feel that earthly energy. And then also, they're a lot of they're just as chaotic as people in this dimension who are alive. So you get a lot of weird things that happen. And I realized, like, okay, yeah, that's probably not something I want to do, is to see everything. So I let it go. And instead, what Babaji did with me is that he took my energy field, he gave me clarity, and then he just accentuated my own glow of who I am in this life right now. He made me glow so strong that my own presence of just being myself in this moment, all of those psychic gifts or sensory were literally meaningless to just being yourself. They don't mean that much. And I do have gifts. And in the grand scheme of thing, like it's like another appendage where it can help. It's like being really tall, where like, yeah, you can help reach something that a lot of people can't reach. But then what happens when you're done? It's just kind of this weird thing. But what feels better and what's worth more is putting all of your attention, all of your focus to just glowing your own beautiful beingness. And Babaji did that to me. In the moment I felt my own energy just spark up and glow without a care in the world, it released all of those desires. They're just trivial pursuits that are fun, but they're more akin to just parlor tricks in the end. And they don't really carry any significant spiritual meaning. Sure, they can help people do this or do that, but getting people closer to the ultimate connection is what most spiritual teachers and gurus are trying to do. Get you closer to God, and that removes all that suffering, liberates you from your pain. So that's what Babaji did. That was the lesson that he showed me, is that all that stuff is just a novelty compared to just being yourself in the fullest expression that you can be. Okay, so that was my first um, story for today. And I think about it all the time. I don't really have those extracurricular desires to kind of want to get those pursuits anymore. But yes, but at the same time, I do want to discipline myself more and more and be stronger in my service, be stronger in my connections. So that's the first one. And the second story, we'll have two stories today. And the next story is a really, really beautiful story. One of my favorite ones, that maybe this one is worth the most. Maybe this one has the most amount of wisdom that I still think about till this day. And that is, okay, so this is what I'm wearing right now. This is a mala that came from Babaji. Babaji has blessed the mala that you see me wearing right here. This is nearly 40 or 50 years old. And as I said, Babaji blessed us. This came from India from that time frame. It was brought back by a devotee in the 80s, and it made it to an ashram. And I connected to the ashram person and got this. So this was super, super valuable and meaningful to me. So I held this. I had acquired this, and I held on to it for months until I felt myself ready and pure enough to put it on. And the very first day I put it on was my 37th birthday. Put this on for meditation. I was like, all right, I'm ready. I'm not going to get any more pure. So I put this on, go into meditation. And I'll make this long story short. I had this beautiful, incredible, loving connection with Babaji. And in the end, I go to show my gratitude and reverence. And it's like the whole meditation was waiting to this. And then Babaji's like, okay, he's doing it. And so Babaji helps me like a parent holding a kid riding the bike for the first time. He puts me into the deepest state of reverence that you can imagine. And as I was just, getting more and more grateful, that gratitude turned into reverence, and that reverence turned into this unbelievable spiritual experience, that there's so much wisdom in the vibration of reverence, where all of the wisdom that we are seeking exist in these states of relationships. Now, what I mean by this is this. Reverence, gratitude, appreciation, these are all moments before unity, where you're not at unity consciousness yet. You're not at oneness yet. Everyone's rushing to get to oneness, where they're skipping this dimension in which all of the wisdom we are seeking existed, where you still have an individual experience. And this is where all the wisdom came from that Babaji showed me. The acknowledgement of service. So, in that state of reverence, where I was holding my hands, you know, feeling this reverence, becoming this pure acknowledgement of service, and then taking that feeling deeper and deeper and deeper, in which you the removal of your own sense of self begins to happen, where there's this dissolving of your own personal feelings, your own personal needs or emotions, until all that's left is the acknowledgement of service. I literally evaporated, into which all that was remaining was my acknowledgement, my individual acknowledgement of this service, in which I was radiating reverence and gratitude in a way in which I was literally non existent. But all that existed in my place was service, was that act of service. So this is the moments before unity, in which you get all the lessons about being an individual person, about relating to other people, about polarizing yourself to be a loving, kind, compassionate individual, and how to treat other people. And as I said in a prior post, I have this meditation, which is very much related to what I'm talking about, where I was connecting deeper and deeper to God. And the more I removed myself, the more I connected to God and allowed God's energy to embody myself, I realized that all that's left in God's energy was just pure service. This loving, compassionate service was all that remained. And that shows that the creative force of the universe is a loving, compassionate service to all. So you begin to see how all of these deep spiritual philosophies are interwoven and connected. And that's what Babaji left me with, was that get into those states of reverence, gratitude, moments before unity, where you're still an individual, and your acknowledgement. So and they can grow and grow and grow into these amazing states of being. So that was my second story that I will leave you with today, as we move forward to the session coming tomorrow. We will be connecting with Babaji tomorrow. It's going to be a beautiful, powerful connection. I hope you can make it. There should be, there's a link above grouphealing.com if you want to join. And yeah, so let me see if we have any questions, because I can see the comments, but I can't see where they're coming from. This on Facebook. So give me one quick second. I'll answer these questions. Where is it? Okay, I see right here. Question: why does any of this even matter in the real world today? No offense. Like, what's the point? What's the message? Well, the message is spiritual practice, because most of us are living in complete suffering. They are unhappy with anything in the world. They don't like themselves. They don't even know what they are. And all they want to do is supply a behavior to, stop the bleeding. What we're talking about here is an inner transformation that happens when you begin to go down the self-realization path and recognize what your true self is, recognize what potential you have, and how it harmonizes your consciousness. It's about finding harmony in completely chaotic and disharmonic world. All of the beauty and the power the bliss, the peace, incredible states of consciousness that are unfathomable to people who haven't practiced. They exist with a couple structured ways of understanding the self, going into meditation and, coming out on the other side. So why does any of this matter in the real world today? I literally can't even imagine or fathom not understanding meditation and, doing these practices. Like, the world would be unbelievably depressing without learning some of these things. So, that would be my answer to that. And the point of doing this is, like, do you want to feel good? Do you not wanna feel bad? Do you wanna, see what actually is like, to actually understand and know what you're made of, to know what infinity is, to be connected to energies and perceptions that are literally so wonderful that words will never fail. Words will always fail to describe them. So that's why that's a good question, Jasmine. That's a very good question, and maybe you want to join tomorrow and see what we're talking about. Yeah, so if you have any follow-up question, I'd love to talk about that. Anywho, but that's what I'm talking about. Uh, Tomorrow, sessions with Babaji is gonna be happening at 4:45 PM Mountain Time, 6:45 PM Eastern Time. Come sit, come join, and, we'll see what's going on. Alright, everyone. Take care.